Is it just us, or is RV camping getting super freaking expensive?
It definitely feels like it.
Yeah, I mean, I cringe every time I book an RV park these days because it seems like 60, 70, 80 bucks a night is kind of the new baseline.
I mean, we know that inflation has affected almost every aspect of our economy, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously. And we're not going to get into politics here.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about what created the inflation, but I think we can all agree that inflation is real. It's a real number. It's documented. You can look it up. It does exist.
And please just save your political comments because we won't respond to them or anything. So.
Yeah, and if you get out of line, we're just going to delete you, man. It's just the way it is.
We are a politics-free zone.
That's right. But it does seem like it's hit the RV world harder.
So, of course, we all probably understand that the pandemic has caused a lot of this increase in prices and demand for sure.
Yeah, and on that demand side, in 2021, the number is 330,000 RVs were added to that demand side of the equation. So that certainly played a role also.
But how much have prices actually gone up for all of us RVers?
Yeah, and I was curious, and you know I like to dig into data and look at things. And if you watched any of our trip planning videos, you know that we use Google Calendar to basically map everything out. Everything's in there. And that stuff is still in there because of the internet and how that all works. We still have all of our data from when we started RVing in 2018. 2018 was our first full year on the road full time.
So we've been doing this for a while.
So I started with our calendar data and I filled out this spreadsheet with every place that we stayed in 2018. And then I cross-referenced our email receipts. You know, you get those booking emails that actually show how much you paid. And I used that data as well as some credit card data where I couldn't find those receipts to be able to kind of find what we paid in 2018 for all these locations. Now, on some of these where I use credit card data, I didn't go in and like subtract the tax and stuff like that. So this data isn't perfect. But if anything, it errs on the side of caution because these are the pre-prices, and if they're a little bit high, it's just going to mean our inflation number is going to be a little bit lower, and that's okay. We're just looking for ballparks here. You're also going to notice there are 307 days in this calendar. Obviously, our year did not get shorter in 2018, but we did a lot of mooch docking and boondockers welcome before Harvest Host was a thing. I didn't include those. I didn't include overnights, so that's why we have 307 instead of 366 days. 2018 was a leap year.
Oh.
There were also one or two locations that had like no email, no website, nothing.
Yeah, and one that had checks or something.
Yeah,
required a deposit via check.
Yeah, we had to mail a check for one deposit. Like, hello, 1980 called. So from there, now that I have the list, it's just a matter of going and looking up all of the current prices. Now, some of these prices do have a mixture of weekly and daily rates, so I did take that into account. Also, as I was filling in this data, I noticed that the increase was a lot higher for private parks versus public parks like state parks and things like that. So I did add a column for public or private and broke that down. More on that in a minute.
Then you also, when you were getting the data and trying to find the current pricing, you matched the same dates and time frames that where we spent the actually time there in 2018.
Yeah, because a lot of our first year of travel was in Florida and up to the Northeast, and a lot of those have seasonally variable rates. So I did take that into account also and booked the same time periods. So let's jump into this spreadsheet.
Wait,
and
I would like to say something. This video is not sponsored, but it's sponsored by us.
Sponsored by Changing Lanes.
Please give us a subscribe if you haven't, and also give us a like. But a lot of you are probably wondering, hey Tara, where'd you get that really cool On the Road Again hat? Well, we designed it, and these are ours, and they can be yours too. So what's really cool is this is like my go-to travel day hat now, and I love it. But we have 8 different styles and color combinations that you can choose from. They are woven patches, and then we have both dad caps and trucker style caps. 2 different color schemes for the patches. I'm wearing the beautiful blue and green, and he's got the cool like orange and desert kind of colors. And we have dad caps and truckers hats. So guys, this is a limited run because we wanted to see what styles, what colors, what types of hats were the most of interest to you guys and which ones you want to see more of. So we only have 96 hats total, and that's spread over 8 different styles.
Yeah.
So get them while you can, because it's going to take a little while for us to gather this data and then figure out which ones we want to continue with down the line.
Links down below.
Sorry I interrupted your spreadsheet talk. Carry on.
Hey, you know I like spreadsheets. If you followed us for a while, by the way, I will have a link to this spreadsheet on Google Sheets down below. So if you want to go and look at that, copy it and paste it and tweak the numbers and play around, you can see it where I did some calculations backwards and forwards, but to get all the data. Sorting by this increase column here, you can see that there are 3 locations over the 100% mark. These, of course, are parks that have more than doubled in price since 2018. Gibbons Ferry is the highest at 147% increase, but you can see it looks like we started with 1950s pricing of only $15 a night on that one. So this is more of a normalization, I think. It went up to $37.
Yeah, that was ridiculously cheap.
Yeah, that was just like almost free.
We couldn't even believe the price of that one.
So forget about that one. Let's move on to the next one.
So next up, with an increase of 126%, is Seaport RV Resort in Mystic, Connecticut. This one was purchased by Sun Outdoors, so I'm sure that that's a big part of the increase.
Yeah, we typically see parks. We've gone back to parks that we've visited before, and sometimes we'll see, oh, it's now a KOA, and it's now more expensive.
Yeah, shocker.
So, you know, some of these bigger companies like Encore, Sun Outdoors, KOA will sometimes purchase these smaller parks, and the prices will go up.
They have more overhead and things like that too, though.
And sometimes, most of the time, we've seen that they will improve on the park when they do so. So, you know, it is what it is. Lastly, in the over 100 club is Woodside Lake Park in Ohio, just outside Cleveland. Nothing stands out there as far as ownership changes or anything.
Not that we know of.
That we know of, yeah. It hasn't changed ownerships or anything. So it just went up. And you can see as we go down the line here, there are quite a few that are near 100 anyway.
You know, maybe it's because there's so few RV parks in the Cleveland area that this one was like, well, we're one of the few, so we can afford to.
Yep, supply and demand. When you don't have as much availability, the demand side comes up. So that is what it is also. Now, if we keep going down this list that's sorted by increase and scroll down to the bottom, you can see that most of the locations with the lowest increase are public parks. So I calculated the average increase, but also I calculated the averages for public and private separately. And you can see here that private park increase are almost double that of public. But remember that Gibbons Ferry one? That's kind of an outlier. So if we take that out, you can see the difference is even greater.
So basically, public locations like state parks and local city parks are even more affordable now.
Yeah, but a bigger difference than it was in 2018 for sure. The other sort of outlier that you're going to notice probably right away because it's got a 4-digit price tag on it is Boyd's in Key West.
Woo.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a splurge. Generally, once or twice a year, maybe we do a splurge for some reason. Yeah. And this was my 50th birthday.
It was worth it.
So it was totally worth it, but man, was it expensive.
Yeah, I mean, we really enjoy staying at Boyd's. But first of all, there's only like one site that we can fit into, so it's hard to get that spot. But we're not going to pay $221 a night.
Yeah, that's what it would cost now on average. If you look at their current pricing sheet, obviously it's done by season and site also. But the most that you're going to pay for a full hookup site with an open water view on peak season is $295 a night.
For a spot to park your RV.
$295 times
Don't tell
14.
Me. Oh.
That would have cost us $4,130. I mean, you can see on the spreadsheet it was about $1,000 more now versus then, but
listen,
it's just,
for
that's
that
just too
you
steep.
could rent an entire house.
Yeah.
For a week or two.
You could rent them for a week. That one we did for a month, I think.
That was in the summertime.
It was in the summertime this year. Season really matters in Florida and especially in Keys.
Yes. So has RVing become unaffordable? Well, it certainly has become a lot more expensive.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the total cost for that route in 2018 was around $14,300, but the same trip today would cost $21,704. That's $7,400 more for that 1 year of travel. That's like almost 60%, I think.
It's crazy.
It's a lot more. So, we've kind of gradually changed the way we book over time. We just to kind of mix it up, and we're willy-nilly, and
We're a lot more spontaneous too. We don't book out for 6 months at a time like we used to.
Yeah.
Sometimes for the big holidays and the big events we will.
Yeah.
But typically we are booking, like we just booked now, like yesterday, for a week from now.
Yeah, less than a week.
So
Yeah.
it's we've changed the way we reserve, we've changed the way we stay. We do a lot more state parks if we can, local parks, things like that. Harvest hosts.
Yeah, definitely. Harvest host is a big one. I mean, granted, that's typically for overnights, but a lot of harvest hosts now allow 2 or 3 nights. Now, you do have to be able to boondock and have the ability to be comfortable without power for those things. Also, a lot of your state parks, while really inexpensive, a lot of them don't have sewer, but they have power. So the poop tote, something like that, could be a good thing to have in the state parks. Another really great option, one of our favorites that we haven't done in a while, is Army Corps of Engineers. Now, this is not military. Some people think Army Corps of Engineers and they think we can't stay there because we're not former military or anything, but you can. Those are just normal parks open to the public. And the thing is, those are built by Army engineers, and they usually have power and sewer and like everything, and they're usually like on water.
Yeah, I was going to say they're usually on some water. So
those are
nice.
super, super nice. We are also trying to stay at military campgrounds a lot more. Now, I realize that's not open to everybody. I'll have a link to an FAQ down below if you're curious, how I have base access as a regular veteran and not a retired veteran. So that is a really good option if you have that access.
You might also be wondering what the heck we're traveling in right now.
Yeah, this isn't our RV, is it?
We're not going to tell you. You have to wait about a month until we get caught up to, the more up-to-date travel where we are right now.
Yeah, the videos in this RV would be out in a couple of months for sure.
But it's exciting, and we're having fun.
But I thought it was really interesting to look at this data. I mean, we're definitely going to make more of an effort to stay in state parks. In fact, the one I booked for next week is a state park. Power, water, no sewer. It is what it is, but we'll deal with it because it's a lot cheaper. I mean, if you're going to stay in RV parks totally, that's going to be super expensive. Now, you can get monthly rates on a lot of these places.
That's true.
Even Boyd's has monthly rates if you can get a whole month there.
So yes, we think that RVing has gotten a lot more expensive. The proof is in the numbers. But you know what's free? A subscribe and a like.
And let us know down in the comments below any experience that you guys have in like, holy cow, this price went up, or maybe your price went down. Let us know what you're seeing out there as far as your experience in these campgrounds. I know I get sticker shock a lot more these days for sure.
And again, if you're interested in the On the Road Again hats, there is a link in the description and in the corresponding blog post to this video. Get them while you can.
Wee, I'm Daisy, I'm flying.
She's like Falcor, never ending story.
We're so dumb.
Dumb.